go. All right. I think that'll work. And let's go here. Let's go back. Okay. Right. Cool. Okay, cool. I'm back. I am back. Back. All right. Hello again. Set me back in 10 minutes, so yeah. All right. I'm back. Uh, we can wait like a few minutes here because I got back a little bit late. So there we go. Good beans. Okay. I see. Oh, okay. A few people popping in. That's good. Good morning, Robert. How are you, my friend? I hope you're doing good, my friend. I'm doing very well. Did you have a good weekend? Wait, really? Crocodilians are capable of climbing trees and fences? Dang. Make sure I don't run up a tree then. Yeah, I did. I did. I was really busy though. Really busy. Patricia, good morning. Good morning. I'm gonna be. I'm a man. Crocodiles are scary enough. You're like, man, don't run up a tree. I'm gone. I'm a goner. Huh. Go figure. I mean, this is my fun fact. Good morning, Carissa. How are you? How are you? How are you? Coffee and beer dehydrate you, despite being drinks. Dang. That's pretty crazy. I agree. 6 feet. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Hoping everybody had a great weekend. Just we are starting chapter 4 today. Yes, sir. Yes, we are. Absolutely 100%. So, we're going to be doing the start of chapter 4 here. Hisa, good morning. Good morning, Hisa. How are you? All right. I see we got a lot of our crew here today. Aha, there we go. Samantha in the chat. There you go. Samantha, good morning. So, good morning to you. How was your weekend, Samantha? Meh? Well, meh is better than bleh, so I'll take meh any day. There's like meh and there's bleh. Bleh is not so good. And there's yeah. Well, even if it was meh, at least it was a good weekend. At least you have a chance. Hopefully, you got a chance to relax there, Samantha. So I see no problem with that whatsoever. Okay. All right. Well, I think I see everybody from this class here, so that's good. I think we'll have a couple more people possibly coming in, but that's all right. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. All right. All right. So let's do it. All right. Okay, let's get started today. Welcome back to Tuesday. Hopefully, had a nice weekend. All right. So, for today, yes, thank you very much, Samantha, for pointing that out in chat. So, for today, what I wanted to announce to you guys, first and foremost, is that the Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 test has been posted. I sent an email out to everybody through D2L. So, everybody should have gotten an email there. So the chapters 2 and 3 test will be due next Monday. So next Monday is when the chapters 2 and 3 test will be due. Okay. Again, there's go ahead and well, yeah. Okay. Uh, well, I have to. I kind of had to do the test. No. What? What did I do? I what? What did I do? I have to give a test. The test is kind of a part of the deal. Um, uh, so the chapters 2 and 3 test is going to be again due next week. There's again two tries per test. Um, okay, that's fine. Try and get the assignments done. That's okay. That's all right. It's not a big deal. I can extend the assignments a bit, so that's really not too much of a big deal. There is a practice test over the chapters 2 and 3 test. Okay, so um, I would suggest once again, to do the practice test because it'll be exactly like the real test there. You get as many tries as you can, okay, of course, on the practice test, so you can get comfortable with the idea and you can, see examples and all that other jazz. So that should be, just fine in terms of doing. And then, let's see. Yeah, then you can go ahead and take care of the test there for next week. So that should be just fine. Yeah, good beans. So just over chapters 2 and 3. Again, you could take your time. I put a lot of time on this test, so I think I put like, I don't know, 5, 6 hours or whatever. So something like that. I think I could always change the time of the test. It's not a big deal. So it's a thing. It happens. All right. Does anybody have any questions over the test or anything like that? Again, um, the fudge. Oh, okay. Any questions about test or anything like that? Let's see how I should have set that up with no. Just don't be sad, Samantha. Don't worry. You guys can always, come to me for questions and whatnot. So, I assure you the world is not ending. I promise you. I'm just gonna check the assignments tab here real quick. So, oh, wrong assignments tab. Well, the other assignments tab. Okay. Yeah. I just have to check this. Okay. Oh, Okay, I gave 5 hours of which to complete, so 5 hours. So 5 hours to complete. Now, one thing is you can do a save for later. Save for later option is available. All right. So that means that you can go ahead and take some questions, and then you can log off, come back. You just can't do the ones that you already had tried. So that would be the save for later option. That's how that works. So, and the time doesn't tick down after you log off. So that way, if you need to go somewhere or something happens, then you can go ahead and do that. All right. And how many questions are on this test again? I put 36. All right, 36 questions on the test. There we go. So here's a question. So do you want more time on the test past 5 hours? I put 5 hours there thinking that was long enough. But do we need more time? I can edit that. You guys tell me. You don't think you do? Okay. No? All right. It's long enough? All right. That's fine then. Yeah, if I said, oh yeah, let's take an hour and a half, everybody'd be like, you know, you're gonna kick my ass. I'm like, okay, thanks. All right, cool. 5 hours is perfect. All right, good. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started though with the new material. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with the new material here today. All right. So today we're going to be doing decimals. All right. Chapter 4 is all about decimals and stuff. All right. So let's talk about decimals here for today. All right. And so what we're going to be talking about here is, let's go back to our little Word document duder. All right. So with decimals, what is a decimal? A decimal is a representation of a part of a whole number, aka a fraction. Okay, so that is what as basics of what decimals are. Again, what a definition of a decimal is again a representation of a part of a whole number, aka a fraction. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a fraction to a decimal. And for us to understand how to take a fraction to a decimal, what we need to understand here is we need to understand the concept of placeholders. So what we're going to do now is take a look at the definition of placeholders here in terms of a decimal. So let's go ahead and write this down. Okay, so I'm going to write this decimal down. I'll write 0.12345 And so I'll write this below. Let's put this in a... So I'm going to have 0 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now, I've separated these numbers out on purpose because each of them has a unique placeholder name associated with it. Now, what am I talking about placeholders here? For example, if I had 0, this 0 here would represent the ones, okay? So like in regular whole numbers, we have ones, we have tens, we have hundreds, we have thousands, and so on and so forth. Well, we have these placeholders here as well for each one of the numbers here to the right of the decimal place as well. So the important part here is for us to know what we call each of the placeholders. Now, here's the issue. The issue is that we don't start off with ones, okay? So let's understand one thing. We're not starting off with ones here. We're actually going to start off with this 0.1 here. This 1 here is going to represent the tenths spot, so tenths. So we actually start off at tenths and not ones, okay? So tenths is what we start off with. All right, next we could go with 2. 2 is going to be the hundredths. Okay, next is 3. 3 here is going to be the thousandths. Okay, 4 here, let's put that in purple. All right, 4 is going to be the 10 thousandths. All right, 5 here will be the 100 thousandths. All right, and then 6 here, 6 is going to be, oh, I already used that color. Let's use brown. Okay. 6 here is going to be the millionths. Okay. So 6 here is going to be the millionths. All right, so, and you could keep going. For example, you could have the next decimal place over. That would be the 10 millionths. All right, next one would be 100 millionths, and you get the general gist. You know, you could keep going up as far as you like. Now, one other thing that I'll make a note of here is that tenths is we also call this tenths here. For example, you may hear the word like, let's say, 1 decimal place. All right, so if you hear the common phrase here, 1 decimal place, that's in reference to the tenth spot there. Okay, so we'll see examples of that certainly, but say, okay, round to, let's say, go round to 1 decimal place. We'll look at rounding here today too, but round to 1 decimal place, all right, that means tenths. Or round to tenths, that means 1 decimal place. All right, so 2 decimal places would be hundredths, 3 decimal places would be thousandths, 4 decimal places would be 10 thousandths, and so on and so forth. Okay, now let's take a look at some examples here of how to actually go from a fraction to a decimal. Okay, so again, the last number here should be at the proper placeholder. So let's take a look here, all right, at several examples. Okay, so let's look at a fraction here. We'll do uh, go in here. Okay. So let's go here. We have 3 over 10. Let's start off with that. Oh, no, not doing that again. Let's try that. Nope. Oh, sorry for the buffering. All right, that was kind of weird. Whoa, what was that? Wow, Adam, you donated $3? Holy smokes. Really? Dude. Wow. That's really super kind of you, Adam. Man. Dude, I don't know if I deserve $3. I don't think I do. I just like helping out, man, my dude. I really appreciate it, though. That's really kind of you. Super, super nice of you. Well, man, I appreciate that. That's super kind. I don't really ask for donations just because I don't know. I have a donation button, but it's like only if only if you really feel like it. Like I'm not gonna push for it. So, but thank you. That's really super nice of you to do. Dang. I don't know what to say about that. Oh boy. Dang. You're welcome to ask questions as well, Adam, if you'd like to learn more. All right. A lot of what I'm going to be saying here is going to be repeat from last class, though, so just letting you know. All right, so here we have 3 over 10. All right, so here we have 3 over 10. Okay, now when you have 3 over 10, we want to be able to say it we want to be able to say it properly so we can actually put it as a decimal. Okay, so 3 over 10 can be written as, again, a way to kind of read this once again is going to be in words. We'll put it as 3/10. So this will be written as 3. No, I don't want it in math language, please. Can write this as 3/10. So if we write this as 3/10, and our placeholder here for tenths is that first decimal place, then all we have to do is, if I want 3 of those tenths, that could be written as 0.3. So just like so. So 3/10. 3 in the tenth spot, because that's, again, the tenth spot is that first decimal place that you see right there. Okay, now that we have this premise as a backdrop, let's go ahead and take a look on how we can how we want to look at other placeholders. So we'll look at other examples here. And again, I'll have this placeholders on the screen so you can reference it. So let's look at the next one here. Sure. Okay. Yeah, 9 over 100. That's what I did last time. So we'll do that again. All right. Okay. So let's do 9 over 100. Okay. So what's a way we can say 9 over 100? What's another way we can say 9 over 100? All right, 9 hundredths. That's correct. So we're going to say 9 hundredths. All right, so that's right. So if we read this as 9 hundredths as words, okay, we read this as 9 hundredths, okay, how can we write 9 hundredths as a decimal? All right, that's right. So 9 is in the hundred spot, i.e. the second decimal place. So that's going to be 0.09, and that is correct. Very good. All right. Any questions about that so far? No, no. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Let's look at another example. Actually, I'll make this one up again. How about how about 277 over 1,000? So 277 over 1,000. How can I write that as a decimal? Good guess there, Patricia. Good guess. Not quite. You got the right idea though. Well, let's talk it out here. First of all, let's speak it in words. What would 277 what? So it'd be 277 what? What would be our units here? Wait. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry about that. That was not right. There we go. Thousands. That's correct. So 277 thousandths, okay? So if we go 277 thousandths, remember the thousandths is in the third decimal place, okay? So how could we write it now? Two hundred and 77 thousandths. So here's a little trick for this one. So I put a note here for this, and that it says the last number, i.e. the 7 here, this 7, should be at the proper placeholder. So this last 7 needs to be exactly, that last number of 7 needs to be in the proper placeholder of the thousandths placeholder. So we're going to have 0.277 here as our final result. So that's why we're not adding an extra 0 there. If we see, let's take a look back. Look back here. The thousand spot is in the third decimal place, so this last 7 needs to be in that third decimal place as well. Right, exactly. So you see, that's why we're not, we add zeros in some cases, but we were really cluing in on that last decimal point and that where that last number needs to go in this case. All right. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? Sorry. No? Okay. All right. All right. Next. Now we want to convert from decimals into fractions, okay? So now we want to convert from decimals into fractions. Now I have several examples on there, which I'll show off, but I actually want to kind of do, I'll have other examples on here. So let's look at a couple of other examples. All right, let's start off with 0.2. So just 0.2. And we want to convert this into a fraction, okay? That's what we want to do. So let's go ahead and talk it out. What's the key here? The key here is to take note of the placeholder where the last number is located. So just like the last one here, we want to take note of the placeholder where the last number is located. So what does that mean? What does that mean overall? Well, let's take a look at 0.2 and let's see what we're talking about. So if we look at 0.2 here, 0.2 here is going to be given. What's another way to read 0.2? Where is the 2 located here in the placeholder list? It would be 2 what? 2/10. Okay? So literally we're reading this as 2/10. So you want to make the fraction be literally what you just read. 2/10. So what would that be as a fraction, you think? Two over 10. Okay, that's right. All right, and that's your answer. It's 2 over 10. It's exactly as you wrote out, as you read out. That's exactly right. Very good. All right, let's try another here. Which one I had over there? Yeah, technically I had that. All right, let me try that one though. Okay. How about this one? How would we read this decimal here, 0.834? $834,000. Okay. Okay. So as a decimal, as a decimal, 834 thousandths. Now as a fraction, what would that be? Okay. Good. All right. And that's it for that one. Nice. Easy peasy. All right. So 834 over 1,000. So 834 thousandths. Just like that. All right. Go. Okay. All right. Let's try that last one there. Okay, let's try one more here. This time I'm going to have you guys try a little bit. So let's try this one here. Okay. All right, so can anybody tell me what this would equal as a fraction? What would this equal as a fraction? 0.00016. 12? 12 over 100,000? Okay. Okay, that's right. Very good. So we can read this as 6. The 6 is in the 10. The 6 is in the 100,000 spot, the fifth decimal place. And yes, everybody is correct, spot on here. All right, absolutely right. All right, so 16 100,000ths is the correct answer. So you guys got it. Nice. All right. Good beans and rice. Okay. Nice work, everybody. All right. Great. All right. So hopefully that one's pretty fast and simple. All right. We'll do the next couple here. Okay. Now we have a good idea about how to convert from decimals to fractions, fractions to decimals. Okay. Are there any questions, by the way, before we move on? Any questions at all before we move on? Sorry, I should ask that beforehand. No? Okay. Just want to be sure. Be on the safe side. Okay. Okay. So Now we did talk about the placeholders and stuff, so that's fine. We also talked about how to, again, say each digit and stuff. So it says identify the place value of each digit. So basically, if we said, let's say we look at 971.54, what are they asking for? What are they asking for here? Let's take a look at what they're asking for here. Basically, they're just asking you at the end of the day. All they're asking you is that you identify what each number represents. So, for example, 9 would be the hundreds. So 900. 7 would be the tens. 1 would be the ones. Okay. 5 here would be the tenths. And 4 here would be the hundredths. So basically, they're just asking you what each of these placeholders are for each one of the respective numbers. So same thing with, say, 0.0835. You can see that on the screen here in letter D right here. Okay, so you would have 0 tenths, 8 hundredths, 3 thousandths, and 5 10,000ths. Okay, so you get the general idea about how that works. It's just going ahead and labeling each one of your placeholders with each one of the respective numbers as such. Okay. All right, I'm going to move on here. Here we have, again, just talking about reading the decimals. Okay, we already talked about that earlier. That's why I want to talk about it earlier, because it makes things significantly easier if we talk about it this way. All right, it's very, very easy if we say, okay, now you can tell me how this reads. Now you can actually put 2 and 2 together. It's really not too hard. Okay, it's asked you to read each decimal, 16 and 9 tenths. Okay, so for example here, let's look at a number here. So here I have one, which is 412 and 987 thousandths. So we look at that last placeholder right there. This is 987 thousandths to the right of the decimal point, just like so. So 412 and 987 thousandths is how we would read that number. Now, in this particular case, let's go ahead and look at another example and see how we can read that out. So let's try this one, 11.1085. So in words, how would we read this particular number? In words, how would we read this particular number? Let's not forget our placeholders here, so let's go ahead and take a look at our placeholders on this list. Okay, so 11.1085. How can we write that in words? Okay, got this. Got this. Yes. How can we write that in words? $11 and 185 thousandths. Okay, that's close. So I agree with this part here. 11 and that's not 185. Remember, take this as a whole number here. Include the 0. So you forgot the 0 there. Yeah, so don't forget the 0. The 0 still counts. 0 still counts. Remember, 5 is in which spot here? 5 is in the 10,000 spot, okay? So that 5 is in the 10,000 spot, not in the 1,000 spot. Not quite. So 11 and 1,085 is correct. So 11 and 1,085, what? It's not 85 thousandths. 10 thousandths, that's correct. Right? The 5 is in the 10,000 spot, so that's what we want to go ahead and put in that case, right? So that's why it wasn't thousands, even though we say 1,085. No, it just depends on whatever that last number is, and then we put that at the end. So hopefully that'll make things a little bit more clear. Okay, good. All right, questions about that? Any questions? No. No. Okay. All right. Go to the next part here. All right. No. 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 All right. All right, next part here is for us to go ahead and write each decimal as a fraction or a mixed number. Why is that 5 in the 10,000ths place? Well, let's take a look back at the number here just for a quick second, because that's a fair question. So we have 1 is in the 10th place, okay? We have 0, 0 is in the hundredths space. 8 here is in the thousandths place, so that's the third decimal place over. Now the fourth decimal place over is 5, and 5 here is the 10,000ths place, okay? So again, this 5 here was in the 10,000ths place, and we always want to look at the placeholder of the very last number, all right, in order for us to determine what we're going to label it as. So that was like the key thing we talk. That's the key thing we talk about here is that let's put that down here. All right, so note what placeholder the last number is in order to read it properly. Okay, so I'll put that in there so that way it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, you know. Okay, so hopefully that makes more sense. It's like, okay, yeah, just make sure you note where that last number is, and then you're just going to tack that on at the end there. That's why the placeholder's little chart there is very important. Okay, all right. Now, let's talk about going from decimals into mixed numbers or fractions. So we have a few examples here. I put a couple of examples here. As you can see up there on the screen, as you see 0.16, 18.105, and 3.05. But let's put up some other examples here and how we can go ahead and how do we get that really is really the question. So let's go ahead and put up some more examples and we'll see how it works out. All right. All right, so the first example I'm going to put up here is let's try let's see here. Sure. Let's put 0.22, okay? Let's put up 0.22. Now, first and foremost here, we want to convert this decimal into a fraction, okay? That's what we want to do. So if we're going to convert this decimal into a fraction, what do you think, how do we write 0.22 as a fraction? How should we write 0.22 as a fraction? Let's go back over our placeholders here. So I'll bring it back. 22 over 100, right? So the last 2 there is in the 100 spot. So that is correct. 22 over 100. Now, the key difference here in this problem is now we're going to go ahead and reduce those fractions down. Okay, so we're going to actually simplify / reduce these fractions down to its lowest terms, and then we're going to actually have an answer for these problems. So in this case here, we want to try and find a common factor between 22 and 100. So in this case, that'll be 2. So we just go with 2 here. And this equals 11 over 50. Okay, and there we go. We got one in the books, just like so. All right. So that one is done. Let's go ahead and try another one though. Which one looks okay? That one looks terrible. Sure, 18.105. That's fine. Yes. All right. So let's talk about 18.105. All right, let's go with that. Now, here's the way it's going to work for 18.105. So for 18.105, the 18 part is very easy. So this is going to be 18 with some fraction next to the 18. The part that we have to be more concerned about is the 105 part. Okay. We can still reduce the fraction or not. Yes. So if you can reduce the fraction, go ahead and reduce the fraction. That's fine. Okay. And that's what we're going to be doing here in this case, Hisa. No problem. All right, so how about 0.105? So the 18 part's taken care of, so we don't have to really worry about the whole number part. But it really is the fraction that we want to actually look at. So how can we write 105 as 0.105 as a fraction? Okay, so it's 105 thousandths. So how do I write that as a fraction there, Patricia? So you're on the right track there. I want to write that as a fraction, just with the 2 numbers there, one on the top, one on the bottom. One numerator, one denominator. All right. 105 over 1,000. That's correct. So 105 thousandths. All right. Now, can we reduce that? Is there a common factor between 105 and 1,000? Yes. Okay. What number is that? All right. 5. Got that right. All right. No problemos. So we're going to go ahead and divide by 5 here. And so if we go ahead and put that together, then when I had class on Friday, so that was the last section there. Whatever the end of chapter 3 was. Was that 3435? Yeah, 3435 was the homework. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, again, I apologize about that, Jacob. So sorry about my computer going crap on Thursday there. I was pretty sad. So, all right, 21 over 200. 21 over 200 is correct. And there we go. We got our mixed number here. 18 and 21 over 200 would be our final answer. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay, well, let's have you guys try that one on your own. I think if we're having a little issue, let's go ahead and take a look here. So let's try 3.05. All right, I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead and do this. All right, and then write your answer there in the chat. Okay, that's fine. All right. All right, Patricia, you got it almost right. Remember to reduce your fraction. Think you're missing a zero there, Robert. Should be 500ths. Don't forget your placeholder there. Remember that 5 is in the 100th spot, not the 10th spot. Okay. All right. Well, let's take a good look here. I think most people have had good luck with this. So this is 3.05. Well, 5 is in the 100th spot, so this is going to be 5 over 100. And so we get 3 and 5 100ths, but we can divide by 5 on the numerator and denominator here, respectively. So in this case here, we get 3 and 1 over 20. So 3 and 1/20th was the correct answer. That is correct. Okay. Nice. Yeah. All right. Any questions about mixed numbers or reducing fractions or whatnot? All right. Okay. Next. Yeah, of course. More practice is always necessary just to kind of get comfortable with it. But there's no big rush, you know. All right. All right, next. We're going to be going over the next section as well, which is rounding decimal numbers. Now, rounding decimal numbers is used quite a bit in many different types of problems. So, rounding decimal numbers is going to be something that you're going to use over and over again. So, getting comfortable with it now should be, well, it's very important. So, how do we go about rounding decimal numbers here? Well, if you remember back to what we did from before in the first chapter when we talked about rounding numbers, we did like a circle and underline kind of method to, again, go ahead and round up or keep the same. Okay, so that's essentially what we're doing here in this case is we're going ahead and doing the same technique. We're going to circle a number, we're going to underline a number, and then we're going to follow some sets of rules in order for us to go ahead and round these decimals here appropriately. So let's take a look at an example, and we're going to go ahead and do it together. So and it says here round 14.39652 to the nearest thousandth. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right. Now, one thing that's going to be important is make sure you note this picture that I have up here of all the placeholders. We're going to go ahead and use that here. All right, I'm going to erase this right now, but if you have this in your notes, you're going to be using this a lot, so keep this in mind. All right. So we're going to take 14.39652. We're going to round to the nearest thousand. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We want to round to the nearest thousandth, all right? So let's talk about the steps on how to round here, and we'll go through them one step at a time. So we're just going to go slow over this first example here. All right. Step one. Step one is to find the number in the placeholder you want to round to and circle it. Okay? So we want to round to the nearest thousandth. So can anybody tell me what numbers of 3, 9, 6, 5, and 2 is in the thousandths placeholder? So which one is in the thousandth spot there? The 9. Close. So we talk about tenths, hundredths, thousands. That's okay. Nothing to be sorry about. This is all about just learning, okay? That's perfectly fine. Look, don't worry about wrong answers. I'm here to just to correct those and just make sure that you get those down. So, mistakes are good, by the way. Mistakes help you learn. So, I made plenty. So, I'm well aware about how that works. Okay, so we go again. Tenths, hundredths, thousands, all right? So tenths, hundredths, thousands. All right, that's what we're doing here. So that third decimal place. Now, what number, so let's look at step 2. Underline the number to the right of the number you circled in step 1. Okay, so what number should I underline then? All right, the 5. Let's underline the 5. All right, just like so. Perfect. Okay, now let's look at the next step here, the step number 3. If the underlined number is 5 to 9, then round the circled number up by 1. If the underlined number is from 0 to 4, then keep the circled number the same. Okay? Step 4, once you round, then all the numbers to the right of the circled number should be zeros. Okay? So once you round, then all the numbers to the right of the circled number should be zeros. So let's take a look at what we have here. This is step 2. So are we going to round up by 1, or are we going to keep this 6 the same? Are we going to round up by 1 or keep that 6 the same? Okay, that's right. We're going to go ahead and round up by 1 because we have a 5 here that's underlined. That's right. So we're going to have 14.397. And then the other two numbers here, based on the last step, I'm going to go ahead and put zeros there because we want to make sure that they're not, we're not going to be dealing with them anymore. Okay. And that is your final answer, 14.397. All right, questions about that? All right, let's go ahead and try another one. Okay. Let's round this to the nearest, yeah. Let's do this next one here, 0.01806. So let's round to the nearest nearest hundredth. Okay, so let's down to the nearest hundredth. So the 2 just changes to a 0. Yes, everything to the right of the circled number changes to a 0. So that's kind of the point of the last step there. Oh, oops. Yeah, here we go. Once you round, all numbers to the right of the circled number should be zeros. So this will always be true when we're rounding for decimals, is that whatever numbers are to the right, we don't want to deal with them anymore. We used it for rounding. Okay, now change them all to zeros and you're good to go. So it just makes the process easier so you don't have to worry about anything else. Okay. Okay, so 0.01806 is the nearest hundredth, okay? So what should we what should we do first? What number should we circle here in this case? What number should we circle? Yeah, let's circle the 1. That's right. Good. Let's circle the 1. And what number should we underline? 8. So, do we round up or do we keep it the same? All right, round up. So our answer here is going to be 0.02. Okay, easy enough. All right. Okay, now we do need to acknowledge one very important thing in regards to rounding, okay? So although these two examples pretty straightforward, there is one exception to the rule because the fact that how rounding actually works. That's what happens when we have a 9 that we round with. So I put a note here in regards to that. Okay, so note, if you have a 9 that you are rounding up, then add 1 to the number to the left of that 9 and change all the numbers to the right to zeros. Repeat if you have other 9s to the left of the initial 9. Now you're probably saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a lot to take in. What exactly are you talking about? Why does that sound so terrible? All right, well, let's take a look and you'll see exactly what we're referring to. So if I have let's say 0.298. All right, let's say I have this number here, 0.298. And I asked, you know what? I want you to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so let's say, okay, I want you to round to the nearest hundredth. So the number we should circle here is 9, and the number I'll underline here is 8. But here's the thing. Because I have a 9 here, I have to basically round up to 10, all right? So 9 goes to 10, technically. But this 10 would technically go over here. So we're actually going to change this 2. So we're going to keep this 0, but this 1 is going to go to the next one over. So this 2 becomes a 3 because of that fact. And so in fact, what we have is we have 0.300 as, or 0.3, which is going to be our rounded number here. Okay. Now you're probably saying, wow, that looks very confusing. I said, okay, that's fair. Let's look at another example where that does happen. Okay, so if we had, say, 0.2995, okay, and I asked you, okay, round to the nearest thousandth, okay? So the nearest thousandth here is going to be 9, this second 9 here, and I underline the 5. So this 9 here becomes a 0 because we have to round it up by 1. Now, as you see here, I have another 9. So this 9 here, again, becomes a 0. Actually, let me do it this way. Change my mind. So this 9 here also becomes a 0 because we have to round it up by 1. And now this 2 here rounds up to a 3 because we had to round up the previous two 9s up to a 0. So this has to be added by 1. So again, in this case here, we get the same. In this case here, we get the result here of 0.30. Okay, so that's how it effectively works, okay, for these type of problems. All right, any questions about that? No? Okay, so hopefully that made sense there. All right. All right, finally, we're going to go ahead and talk about how you can round in some applications, so such as rounding money, so rounding to the nearest cent, for example. So for example, we have 2.4238, okay? So let's say you get an expression that looks like that. So if I'm rounding to the nearest cent, what am I actually rounding to? So if I'm rounding to the nearest cent, if I round to the nearest cent, how many decimal places or what placeholder am I actually rounding to here? That's correct, actually. Yes, not the tens. It actually is going to be the hundredths. The hundredths. So rounding to the nearest cent equals a hundredths. Okay, like $3.64. Okay, that's going to be 2 decimal places, right? So how about this? What number is in our hundredth spot according to this problem? What number is in our hundredth spot according to this problem? All right, this 2 right here is our hundredth spot for cents. Then the number next to it is 3. So do we round up or do we keep it the same? Keep the same. That's correct. So our final answer here is $2.42. And that's it. All right. Easy peasy. All right. Any questions about that? Nope. Okay. So homework for today would be sections 4.1 and 4.2. Okay. So that'll be the homework. Don't forget to do the test there, Jacob. So again, test. Remember that the test is due next Monday. All right, test is due next Monday. All right, in the meantime, though, we may do one more example or so from this section, but we're going to move on here for next time, going over talking about adding and subtracting decimals and possibly multiplying, dividing decimals as well. All right? Any more questions? Cool. Okay. Okay. All right. Great job, everybody. All right. I want to thank you all for coming out here again today. Again, I really appreciate all the time and effort you guys make to come out to the stream. I again apologize about last week, but hopefully everything will be back to normal with our normal streams. All right. All right. So I will see you all in a couple of days. All right. Everyone, please take care of yourself. All right. Have a great rest of your day. All right. And I will see you in a couple days. Work on that tests and do that homework. All right. Have a great one, everyone. And we'll see you later. All right.